everybody. Welcome to another episode of Mommy Needs a Break. It's for all you mommies out there. We're a podcast where we just take a break from being moms, you know, even though our kids might be running around in the background. For those of you who are watching, this is our second Zoom episode. So yeah, there might be a couple of glitches in here, but you know what? Rock with us because it's a pandemic, y'all. We just in the house trying to still make our dreams happen. So thank you for joining us. Also, if you guys want to check out, we have a brand new website. It is bomb. Marisa put her foot in it as it's mnabpodcast.com, MNAB podcast. Also follow us on our handles at MNAB podcast everywhere. And follow me, Meg Scoop at Meg Scoop on the intranet.
And me, Marisa Johnson, as she is Marisa J on Instagram and Twitter.
Okay, y'all. So we're going to talk about a lot of stuff today. How to feed your kids in the car without a mess. When you've outgrown your friends. Fabulosity, which mainly comes from our guest. You see her. She's a mother of two, digital creator. She's a makeup and beauty guru, fashionista turned house-a-nista. She's the wife to comedian KevOnStage. Y'all give it up for Mrs. KevOnStage, Melissa Fredericks.
Hello.
Thank you for joining.
I didn't jazz up enough for that introduction. I got
Kev beautiful,
looking like a whole pajama shirt. I threw like some earrings and was like, "This is good enough."
There you go. That's all you need. Seriously. I mean, for real, because they can go to your page at Mrs. KevOnStage and see all the fabulosity girls. So you don't even have to turn it right now. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So let's get. Oh, go ahead, Marisa.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, girl.
Okay, so before we get into all that, this segment is called Ain't No Shame. It's our mommy confession time, and there's no judgment in this. And today, I have ain't no shame in risking your whole life going to the grocery store to make up anything, any excuse really to go. Last week, we have a 2-month-old, and she has baby water. I don't even know what's in that. I was like, oh, the baby ran out of water. I should go to Target. I need to go to Target. And literally like 2 seconds after that, Terrell came out the garage with like 3 jugs of water. Like, oh no, babe, I got water right here.
I want to go to Target.
I found this new recipe on Pinterest and I need like cornstarch or something. What else does it say? Like, I need to go to Target. I've literally woken up at like 7:30 to get to Target by 8 o'clock, just before anyone like really gets up out of bed. Like, oh, I gotta go. And I'm just walking through the aisles. I'm like not even buying anything. I'm just going through every aisle just to see what they have that's new, maybe. No.
That's your me time.
Ain't no shame. I mean, that's the only time I have now. The grocery store.
Gotta get it when you get it. So I am not mad.
You got a 2-year-old, you got a 2-month-old girl. You're getting exercise in. You're practicing self-care. Like,
yeah. So I was like, "Are you okay? Like, are you okay?" I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Do you need anything?
Are you sure? Your mama needs something.
Somebody needs anything. Oh my goodness! So, ain't no shame making up reasons to go to the grocery store.
I feel that.
Risk my life and
I feel that
everybody's life in the house. Oh.
Melissa, what about you? You have any ain't no shame in any of your shameful moments that we won't shame you for?
Yes, I ain't no shame in that. Well, maybe it's 2. I'm not quite sure. So I've been married for 16 years and I've never made Rice Krispie treats ever.
What?
I've never made them.
I know, that's so random, right? It's weird.
I not make Rice Krispies like at least once.
Never. I've never made them. I have made them twice now in quarantine. And I personally have eaten the entire pan both times.
Oh my God. Wait, so nobody got a piece? What?
Did they know you made it?
Yes. I tell them, hey, I made Rice Krispie treats. You guys are welcome to them. And if they don't eat them within 48 hours, I eat them all.
That is amazing.
That's
fair.
You know
what's funny? I just bought the jumbo marshmallows because I wanted to make s'mores because we have the fire pit. And we did that one day. Like it was just me and Turtle, literally one day of s'mores. And they're just sitting there. So now I'm going to go do that. I'm going to make Rice Krispies.
And now I'm going to make s'mores.
Literally.
And they have 48 hours to come and get this.
That is amazing.
Our clock starts now. Okay?
Oh my God. Wait, what was the reaction from your husband and your kids? And
I actually don't even think he realized it. What came to my mind is because I literally told him maybe 2 or 3 days ago. And I was like, you do realize I ate both of those pans of Rice Krispies, like both of them, right? And he was like, no. I didn't realize that.
It's funny. Was it the big pan or like the square
pan? No, ain't no squares. No.
It was the rectangle.
The recipe that calls for the entire box of Rice Krispies, 1 full thing of the mini marshmallows. I've learned, because the first time I made it per the instructions. The second time, you got to add a little bit extra butter. Just a little bit. You got to add a little couple more extra marshmallows, and that's what gets it just right. Girl, I sat down and watched Married at First Sight. Squares at a time.
Oh, that sounds amazing. We need to like have a Zoom call and just
listen. It was amazing, and
ain't no shame.
Ain't no shame. And I'm not sorry either.
Oh, girl. Oh, that sounds like a vacation. I just ate Rice Krispie treats. I watched my show uninterrupted.
Oh, great.
Hallelujah.
Girl. Oh. So ain't no shame in that. All right. Y'all, let's do some mommy tips. So this is a tip. Okay. So, like I'm a newer mom but I've noticed there's times like when we weren't in quarantine and now that we're about to get out of it soon, like you just be in a car and sometimes you gotta like be on the go, right? So sometimes you may stop somewhere and grab some food because you realize it's 7 p.m. and your child is not eating and you ain't about to make no dinner and you got to just buy something quick, right? So I learned this mommy tip. So if you go to a fast food restaurant, ask for the drink trays. And ask for one of them for each of your kids. Because what you could do is you turn that into an actual tray. You put their drink in there, you take the nuggets, you put the fries or whatever, and they can sit with that in their lap. So, with my son, he's in a car seat. So now he just got it in a car seat. Now he'll still probably dump it. But
I was going to say,
at least we try. At least this is a better tip for when he's like 4 or 5. We got it.
I love this tip.
Melissa, you have any tips?
That was a fantastic tip. My boys are older, so I have a 13-year-old and 11-year-old. And the only tip that I have for moms out there that have older kids is to make sure that you're checking in on their mental stability throughout this crisis, because they too are being impacted and affected. And not just because like they're at home, but because they can't see their friends. And I was just telling my boys this the other day, like just because you guys are safe at home and you guys don't mind being at home doesn't mean that your friends feel good about being at home. You don't know what their home life is like. You don't know if they get along with their parents. You don't know if they get along with their siblings, and you don't know if their parents get along with each other. And all of that can cause chaos and, a lack of peace. And they're going through it. And now your kids feel empathetic for their friends. So now they're going through it. So like just making sure that you're like, checking in. They're human beings too. They have emotions and feelings. So just making sure that you check in on them as well.
Was there anything that surprised you about your kids, like through this whole like check-in process?
That they were both fine. Actually very surprising, because I thought Isaiah, my oldest, is more like Kevin and very much like a social butterfly and loves his friend. Like he has a Zoom call with his friends tomorrow.
Oh, that's cute.
And I'm just like, first of all, Zoom calls are for people that pay bills. Okay. Like, do you have a paycheck? No, you don't. Do you get paid every 2 weeks? No, you don't. Why do you need a Zoom call? But he has a Zoom call tomorrow. And so I was like, are you guys okay? Like literally I checked in with them like earlier this week and they were both like, girl, no, I mean, they don't say girl, but basically, girl, no, this is great. We don't got to go to school. Like, it's been fantastic. Like, it's been fine. And I thought for sure that they, it's a lot going on. We moved, we were supposed to it was just a lot going on. And they were like, we're chilling. So they're more resilient than I thought they were. But I had to remind them about empathy and being sympathetic and sensitive, that just because you're okay doesn't mean your friends are, and don't judge them if they aren't. Like, just be there for them. And so that was a conversation that I had, but they were they doing better than me. I'm gonna tell you that.
They're like little adults. That's so great.
Yeah, they really are. They really are. And just, they're so resilient. Kids are so resilient. Because I'm over here like, I am not okay.
I'm not either, girl.
Great. I'm not.
No, I miss outside. I miss going to dinner. I miss like outside. I miss fun times.
I literally feel like
yesterday.
I feel like I've been on quarantine since January, maybe. Because I was right about to have the baby in February. So I was literally in bed anyway, all of January, most of February. And then
literally your 2020, your entire 2020.
My whole life.
I'm 2020.
And I was on the phone with my sisters and I was like, man, I can't believe we've been in this since January or since February. And they're like, since February? I was like, yeah. And like, Marisa, what are you talking about? And I was like, I was in the house for Valentine's Day. I was like going through all this stuff. Like, Marisa, that's just because you were pregnant.
Right.
Oh, it's just all pushed together. Everything. Birth, just coming home. We'll be okay. We have this podcast. Help me. This helps me.
I started drinking wine more, guys. I found different wines that I like now. I'm a Moscato d'Asti girl.
Ooh, what brand, girl?
Sparkly Moscato.
Guys, I have an app. It's like a wine app. And they deliver to my house the same day. I have boxes. They come.
Wait, the same day?
The same day. It's been that way since it started too. The same day they will come.
How many bottles of wine do you order at one time?
A whole box, whatever that is. And then I'll do like the cases of the sparkling drinks, the new little sparklers, claws or whatever. I don't know. I've never even
drank. Get this app.
I got to. I thought to ask you, what's the name of it?
It's called Total Wine.
Oh, I've seen that. Okay.
Total Wine. It's fabulous. Fabulous. I'll get a little case. I don't even drink beer. I just have beer in the house. I have a whole wine cabinet with like new wine glasses came last week. Just have
I'm here for this.
Decanter, everything.
Yes. All right, let's scroll. You know, what do we do with scrolling, Marisa?
Let's see. Okay, so Let's Scroll is a segment where we finally get a break. You know, we're scrolling through our timeline.
You're sitting on the toilet acting like you're taking a dump, but truthfully, just scrolling.
So on my timeline, there was a lot of discussion around an episode, an Insecure episode called Low Key Done. If you haven't watched
it. Wait, hold on. What episode is this? Because I haven't seen all the Insecure episodes.
Well, I'm sorry. It's a spoiler alert if you haven't seen it.
Wait, do you watch this too, Melissa?
I do. I've seen the episode.
So Megan, I'm sorry. Well, I'm going to talk about it.
Gosh, why you got to ruin a good time? Okay,
you should have watched it. What else do you have to do?
What do you mean?
It comes on Sunday.
Oh, you're right.
Anyways, throughout the episode, Issa is replaying all the hurtful things Molly screamed at her during her successful block party, calling Issa a user amongst a lot of out-of-pocket foul words. Leading up to the block party, Issa was insecure about putting it together. Her and her friends, including Molly, they really didn't believe in her. I felt like they didn't support her. It seemed like they were like, oh yeah, whatever. I don't know what you're doing. They weren't into it, basically. But as soon as Issa started to come into her own and start like filling in the gaps, she started getting sponsors and things like that. And it was really coming together. It seemed like Molly didn't know how to handle this new Issa in a way. So at the end of the episode, Issa, who usually goes and extends the olive branch to Molly, you know, she usually apologizes through the seasons of the episodes when she messes up. She sees Molly in the restaurant and she looks like she's about to go over and talk to her. But she actually just turns around, walks away and goes in her car and drives off. So my question is, how do you know when you've outgrown your friends and when it's time to like basically walk away? Like, what do you do?
Well, that is deep.
I was so like, when I was watching this episode, I was just like,
you started naming people. You was like, okay, you gone, you outgrown.
Because I'm such an entrepreneur my whole life, I felt like I'm always having wild ideas and you need the support, you know, from the people who are close to you to kind of like, you know, gas you up a little bit. And, you know, so I related to it.
What about you, Melissa? What do you think? How do you know when you've outgrown your friends?
I think, you know, well, okay, a lot of thoughts. I don't think that Molly and Issa have necessarily outgrown each other. Mm. I think that they are at a point in their relationship where they need to restructure. That's and they haven't had that conversation with each other. And so they're still working off what was, and it's not working for what is. A whole entire word.
That was
a whole entire word.
I'm applying that to my life. Shoot.
I just felt it too. That's why I had to stop. And so that's what I think. I don't think that they've outgrown each other. However, to answer your question, how do you know when you've outgrown? I think when you just realize your...
Look at us.
I was going to say your paths are going like this, but I feel like that has more to do with like just the way life happens. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I've decided to get married and move and this, and now I'm doing these things and yada, yada, yada. And my friend is along this journey that's just different than mine. And I don't think it necessarily means it has to be like a bad break where I just, Issa was like, I don't with her no more. Right. I don't think it has to be like that. That's true. I don't think it has to be like that. I think it just means, our life paths just took us differently. That'll always be my girl, whatever. We used to hang tough back in the day, but where we are now, it's just, it's just different.
Oh, this is so relevant because I'm actually going through something like this right now with one of my friends where so becoming a mother, I've had a tougher time than I guess most moms. It's always very tough at the beginning, but I feel like some of us have a little more trouble than others. And for me, becoming a mother later in life, I've been used to being by myself for a long time. And now I've added a fiance and a baby pretty much at the same time. It was a big adjustment for me trying to understand with how do I wake up in the morning and start my day? I'm used to just doing stuff for myself. I'm used to going where I want to go. Now I have to think about a baby and so for me, the transition was a little bit tougher and it took me a while to kind of get in the swing of things. At the same time, I have a really good friend who she was just like, I feel like I don't know how to support you in this stage. And it was a mix of us not communicating with each other. I kind of just went in my own little shell and just I was just and then plus I was dealing with postpartum anxiety. So you throw that in the mix. It's like, yo, I can't even show up for myself right now. I'm trying to be a good friend to you. She's like, no, I'm not worried about you being a good friend to me. I'm trying to be a good friend to you. But where you're at, I don't know how to support you as a friend. And I was like, you right. And I don't have no answers for you. I don't have any answers. So, and it hit me have we outgrown each other? Is that where we're at in our friendship? But it took me some time. And it's at least in our situation, I realized it was just me trying to find the new version of me. Mm-hmm. Right? You know what I'm saying? As a mom, you just this is your calling. You have been called to a higher purpose in life as a mother. And so now how does all that work in conjunction with your career, with your relationship, with other relationships? How does it affect that? It works together, but sometimes you got to find the groove. And so I feel like I'm now getting back into the place with her where we're back to our tight friendship. It's getting back there, but it really was on me not knowing myself and just like Issa, trying to figure out well, what is my groove? What am I good at? What's my jam? Yeah. So what do you think, Marisa?
I mean, I totally understand what you're saying because I feel like my life happened super fast. I have 2 kids, under 2 or at 2. Yeah. But the friends that I had before I got married, a few of them are still around, but like you said, it's in a different capacity. We're not able to get up and just go jump on a plane or road trip. I can tell that their feelings are hurt sometimes, I would say. I don't pick up the phone as fast. I call back 5 days later. I respond to text messages even later. And it makes me feel bad, because I can tell they miss me and I miss them too. But it's just a different capacity now. I have had a few friends though, as my career started to take off a little bit and I started to become more successful. I have seen a lot of friction in some of those areas as well. So I've experienced both with being a mom and a wife and in excelling in my career. In one area, I can see that they're genuinely like just sad that they can't hang out with me, or we don't have the same, time. Right. And I get that. And then on the other hand, I've seen where it's like, oh, I just don't mess with you anymore. Like, and I don't even know. I'm just like, what? To the point where I've had my feelings hurt, and like cried. Like, wait, why don't they want to be my friend? Like, I don't understand. What did I do? So I've dealt with both sides of it. I feel like, and on this side where the friends just want to, hang out, I do have to be a better friend. I know that there's some areas where I need to be like, make it a priority to be a better friend because I want to have friends, I want to hang out. I don't want to be left out. I want to go.
How do you balance that? Like,
I don't know. I don't know.
You tell us because we need some schooling. Like, do you ever master like being a good friend as a mother?
No,
I don't have friends today. I have a 13 and 11-year-old.
They're my friends.
They're my friends, and that's it. And part of the reason is like what you guys just said, when you're young or when your kids are young, not only can you not just get up and go, but when you do get up and go, it is a whole ordeal.
Oh my God.
It better be worth it.
Yeah.
Because if I don't get a babysitter, that means I have to bring my child with me who is liable to act a plum fool. I have to make sure I pack a bag, make sure there are diapers and wipes. I have to make sure that there is formula. Oh, wait, am I breastfeeding? Let me make sure that I can pump in a specific, or I can breastfeed him. And don't let breast milk go bad and it's just sitting out. Now I'm pissed because breast milk is liquid gold. Like it's a whole situation. Is this restaurant kid friendly? Am I worried that my kid gonna fall over? Do they have car seats? Do they have high chair? My baby's not old enough to sit in a high chair. Do you have somewhere I can put my car seat? Can we get a booth so I can put? It's a lot.
It's awful.
It's a lot.
It's awful. This reminded me, two of my good friends flew into town when I had just had my first baby, and they came with me for a day. Like I had to run errands. By the end of the day, all three of them were asleep. The baby and the two friends in the back seat just sleep. And I was like, I told y'all this. You guys don't want to hang out with me. You guys do not want to hang out with me. This is not
a lot.
It is a lot.
Like, can you guys get that? Can you help me with this?
Then, oh my gosh, strollers.
Oh no, don't even.
Especially when it's a whole freaking RV.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
They're so big and massive, and you got to put and do this and make sure the thing is there. Like, it's a lot. You'd be like, I don't even want to, like, just thinking about it is making me tired. And I'm 11 years removed from that part of my life, and I'm exhausted right now.
Wait, and both of y'all have two kids that are 2 years apart, which means you have two kids in strollers when you got to go through, like, Disney World or something. Oh my gosh.
Disneyland's closed, but when we were walking around just our community the other day, I had to strap the baby on me and then push the other one in the stroller just to walk around the neighborhood. And I was like, this is a lot.
One of y'all got to get a job. This is too much. One of y'all got to go.
Somebody. And they're both home now.
When you have friends that like literally 11 years removed, and the fact that I can still remember that, it just allows me to have empathy for like, girl, it's okay if you don't call me back. Like, yeah. I get it. I remember we're connected 5 years.
Those are the new friendships that I'm building. And it's great because they know, like, I know, like when I had the baby, hey girl, I know, you probably can't text, but I'm just going to drop some food off for you. Like they knew what I needed in this time.
Oh yes.
Those are the
praise God for like, other mamas. Ooh. Also, talk to me, Melissa, about like, I work with Kev at All Deaf, and y'all's story is so unique. I really love it. I love the fact that you guys have been together since high school, right?
From high school. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Been married 16 years.
16 years.
13-year-old, 11-year-olds, like basically y'all have been together y'all's whole life. What do you think the biggest misconception about y'all's relationship is?
Ooh, the biggest misconception about our relationship is probably that people think is perfect. I think a lot of people, and even more Pacific, okay, is that I remember on our podcast, we were talking specifically about like an issue that we were having. And I was kind of like explaining to Kev, this is why you were wrong. Okay. Like, let's go through the things. And I think a lot of times when you're single, it's a lot, you give like a lot of grace to like, no, girl, he's okay. He's so great. He's funny. He's always pumping you up. He's always doing this. Like, you should be appreciative. And I had to tell Kev, I'm not married to comments.
Thank you.
Neither are you, okay? Like, the only real thing that matters is what matters to me and what is important to me. And I'm not a words of affirmation girl. Like, my love language, words of affirmation is like actually probably the fourth one of 5. And so I don't need those things. I want your time.
Yeah.
Is actually number 1, and then acts of service. But if I had to choose, I'm going to want the quality time. So posting about me, whatever, those are all nice, but that's not my love language. So what I need from you is what I need from you. And while these people love it and they're enjoying, I love the way you pump her up. Look, and it's nice.
Black love.
Yes, like, I'm here for it. Hashtag Black love is really nice. And I'm not saying don't do that, but what I am saying is don't do that in place of what I actually want from you, what I actually need from you, what I'm actually asking of you, because I would much rather take 2 hours of your time than a post that gets 100,000 likes or, whatever it is. Like, some people are really caught up in that. And I'm just not, no shade, no offense.
Yeah.
I'm just not that person. It's just not my love language. So just recognizing that, like, we're not a perfect couple. Child, I got my mistakes and my flaws too, that he will come for me for, but this is my episode. Okay. So we talk about me, but I have mine too. And we're always constantly, growing, evolving, and learning each other. Even just, again, with this quarantine, like, I wasn't okay.
Yeah.
Like, I was not okay. It was a lot going on at one time. And I realized, because I am very much like, I need things to be stable. I need things to be planted. I need things to be sure. I need that kind of like certainty and surety in my life. And the child quarantine, COVID-19 came in and ripped up all the trees. Everything just go. Everything's up in the air. And so I was like, my world was just like this, literally. And so it took me a while to kind of, rebalance and re-regulate. And that transition for us was like, are you okay? And it was like, I'm not. I'm really not okay. And it would only happen in like this type of global pandemic where your world is completely upside down, that it exposes this weakness in your relationship that you're like, okay, this is an area we didn't know. It was a blind spot we didn't know we had. This pandemic has exposed it. Now let's address it.
Whew, child, because I done walked out, I don't know how many times, only to walk back in the house. Like, never mind. I can't go nowhere.
But I think that's good. Like you said, I mean, I feel like I was listening to myself talk to myself. But I think when, like you said, you know what you need from him, you know what your love language is, right? And as long as you communicate it with him and he understands it, it's like, it's actually a positive, right? It's like, oh, we got all this time now to spend quality time together. What is it that you want to do? What do I want to do? That's what I have found through this time, because I had a similar situation where I was like, wait, what do I actually want? Like, what do I want to, okay, I have this time now. What do I want?
Right.
What do I need from him? And be vocal about it.
Yeah.
Good.
I know there's something that you said one time on an episode of the Love Hour podcast. If you guys haven't subscribed to Melissa,
me too, girl.
Make sure you watch and listen to that, because y'all's podcast is amazing. But I remember there's one thing you said. You said, I think the question was, did you know like Kevin was the right one when you got married to him? And he said yes, and you were like, oh, I wasn't sure. And I was like, that was so profound, because people think that the day you walk down the aisle, you're supposed to be 100,000% sure, like, this is a person I'm gonna spend the rest of my life with. Everything's perfect. I knew it. And for you to be like, oh, I know, like, that was so big.
I'm gonna tell you what, Megan, in real life, I have struggled with that answer for as long as Kevin and I have been married, because Kevin, he's so romantic that his answer is always, yes, I knew right away. We were in Miss Chapman's class. I knew right. Like, he's a comedian. He got to embellish and like make it all the things. And so I've always like given an answer, but I never felt comfortable with it. And I didn't know how, like I had all these thoughts in my mind, but I didn't know how to articulate it. Mm-hmm. And I was listening to this relationship guru. Her name is Esther Perel. She was talking about something totally different, to be honest. But the way my mind works, I connected it to what I've been trying to articulate over all these years. And what it boils down to is that at the end of the day, love is a risk. It is vulnerability. It is saying that I am trusting you with my heart, whole heart, like every piece of my heart I'm giving to you to either protect or completely trample on. That is a risk. That is a huge risk. And that's what marriage is. You can't have a marriage without trust. At the end of trust is vulnerability. I need you to see all of me, the good, the bad, the ugly, the imperfect. I need you to see all of me so we can enter this relationship with trust. And you know that I am a safe space to hold all of you. And you are a safe space for you to hold all of me. That's what a relationship is. That's trust. That's vulnerability. That is a risk.
And so you're willing to take that risk though, right?
Exactly. Right. And so all I knew on my wedding day was that I was willing to take the risk. I felt like at the time in our relationship and the time that we had spent together dating was enough for me to say, I am willing to take the risk. You have proven to me that you are good enough to protect me. Of course, you go into it and some people don't. That's why they get divorced. You know what I mean? But that's the risk and that's all I knew. And what I say now is 16 years later, I'm so glad I took that risk. But I am more sure about my I do today than I ever was on my wedding day.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know what would become of this. I didn't know. And you're not going to know until after you say I do. And so today I'm grateful, but people's stories are different. And they look back on it and they say, I wish I never did that. Like that was a terrible idea because he didn't protect me. He didn't protect my heart. He squandered it. Whatever. It just didn't work. And I'm so grateful today that I did. But, back then, girl, I was 20 years old. Thinking I knew, and I did it.
That's beautiful, though. That's beautiful. I feel like that's all you can really do is let's step in this together and let's agree to be partners and the rest will work itself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, since you guys known each other forever, you took the risk. Now you guys have this amazing empire together. You guys work together. How do you balance being business partners and husband and wife?
I think we're getting better at it.
Yeah.
In the beginning, if I'm being fully transparent, because I'll use this analogy. Someone just like today said that in every relationship, there's a kite and there's a string. The kite is the dreamer. The string is the one that's like stable and there to kind of like correct and like, let's make sure we think about this. And that's the dynamic that Kevin and I, he's a dreamer, big, huge dreamer. That's who he wants to fly and fly high. Okay. And I'm always the one that's like, well, maybe we should let's go this way. It looks like the wind is like doing a whole lot over there and you might come down and fall and crash and burn. Let's go this way. Like I've always been that person. With that dynamic, it can be good and it can be bad. And it took us a while to kind of figure this out where I'm like trying to be practical and not be a dream or not be a dream killer, but help you like think of all the options. Because Kev is like, if there's $1 million to be made, I am making $1 million. And I'm like, well, what if you only make $3? Like, what does that scenario look like? And people interpret that as like, you don't believe in me. You're not this, you're not that. And I'm like, but I'm not though, but we do have kids. We have mortgage, we have rent, we got things we got to pay for. So we need to think of like all scenarios and be ready for them. So it took us a while to kind of like figure that out. Once we did, and then we started working together, it became another dynamic where it's like, before that's your thing, I'm going to work, you go do this, and I'll make sure at the very least we have health insurance. You can get your eyes checked. My kids can go to the doctor, and we will ensure to have a paycheck every 2 weeks. That's my job. Your job is to go be the kite. Okay.
Yeah.
Once I cut off my job and we're both in this world, it's like, well, how do we navigate Marisa now has input. Marisa has a say. Marisa has a voice. Marisa wants to do something that's different than yours. Marisa wants to tell you that you don't know everything and maybe you should think about it like this. And so doing that dynamic navigating that dynamic has been challenging. But I think here recently, we've kind of figured it out where he can accept what I have to say and not feel offended. Men, their egos.
Absolutely.
Girl, they be so fragile. You can't halfway say nothing and disagree with him. And who Kevin is as a person is everyone's like, Kevin, what do you think about this? Kevin, what do you think about this? Kevin, how about you look at this? Kevin, can I get your input on this? I got this idea. Can you run? Can you, and I'm like, I mean, that's great. He's respectable. You know what I mean? He's done a lot. He's done a lot on his own. But also, girl, listen, she has ideas, right? And maybe they're different than yours. And your path as a comedian is different than my path and what I want to do. So yes, you have input and you have things you want to say, but I've studied a lot of people on YouTube as well. And they've done things completely different than you. And they have found great success. So I'm just here to say, like, how about I take a little bit of you and a little bit of this and come up with my own? And Kev is like, that's all wrong unless you just do it my way. Well, that ain't how it's going to work either. Yeah. So we've had to navigate those changes, and they coincide, oddly enough, with Marisa as a person finding my own voice as well. So it's a relationship that it's a dynamic that impacts not just us working professionally together, but it impacts our relationship, on a personal level, because I'm also going through this metamorphosis of I can't just be quiet. If I have an opinion, it's okay to voice it. If you have something to say, it's okay to say it and not be afraid of the pushback or, someone disagreeing. It's okay to have a voice and speak up about it. I don't know if I answered your question.
No, you did. I'm doing this wife Bible study online during quarantine, 8 weeks. And she said, men, they respond to respect. And so it doesn't matter what you say to them. It's how you say it to them and how you present it to them, and learning as a wife how they receive information is the number one key of getting your opinion out. Yeah. So I'm in that week right now. So I'll tell you guys about it.
That's good. Are you guys reading Love and Respect in your Bible study?
No, it's Stephen Furtick's wife, Molly.
Oh, I don't know.
And she created a whole Bible study. So I'm doing her online pamphlet. Basically, it's like a weekly pamphlet. And this week it's respect, learning how to learn your husband's respectful love or language, basically. So we'll see. But I think teach me work together too. And so just learning how to, I have a mind. I think my idea is good too, but learning how to communicate in a way where he doesn't feel disrespected. Yeah. She said is the takeaway for this week. So
that's what I'm trying to learn, ladies.
Love is what is
Love and Respect by John Emerson is probably where she's getting that from.
I think she brought that up, actually.
Yeah, John Emerson, Love and Respect. It's based on a scripture I think found in Ephesians 5, and it talks about respecting your husband and wives receiving love. So that's why the title of the book is Love and Respect. Really great stuff. And men interpret love. Love as respect. Yes. And women interpret respect as love.
Yes.
So that dynamic is what you're often trying to again, navigate, because you're a man and I'm a woman and we interpret these things differently. So trying to understand that is
right. Yeah. That's exactly what she said, actually.
That's so good. You know what, as you're saying this, Marisa, first of all, I feel like you should be somebody's psychologist, because the way you break stuff down, I just be like, yes, Marisa, you better make it plain for the people. Okay. But you're an author. You wrote The Journey to Self-Love, which I read and I love. And I'm so glad that you wrote that. Are you going to write another book? Because I know you have your own book club and everything.
I have been toying with the idea of writing another book. I be having so many ideas. I just get overwhelmed with I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, and I want to do this. It's girl, center yourself. Do one thing at a time. So I've been toying with the idea. I have probably 15 different notes in my phone where I've started a book and then just not completed it. Yeah. So eventually I think another one will come out of me. I don't know when.
Okay. Well, you have 2 kids, right?
Right.
I was going to say you have 2 kids, like they're 2 years apart, right? Is there any challenges with balancing, trying to do your YouTube, write a book? How do you balance being a mom to 2 boys and getting your passions out there?
Girl, you know what? Honestly, my boy, they're so old that they're self-sufficient. Like 13 and 11.
Look at both of us. We're like,
Isaiah will get up and make eggs. Joe will make oatmeal. Like the only thing this is what I have to like be on them about. Did you brush your teeth? Did you put deodorant on? Did you shower? Can you put some lotion on your face? Like those are the things that I have to like, can we get it together, please? Can you look presentable? Yeah. Those are the things. But like, as far as like dinner, food, you know what I mean? They're self-sufficient, even to the point where even with this homeschool, I feel so bad for moms who are like raising younger kids. If they're like in 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, that's really hands-on.
Yeah.
You have class at 9. Are you awake? You have class at 9. Are you awake? That's it. That's it.
Oh, goodness.
You know where to log on. You know where the portal is. You know where the links are. And I did have to, with my oldest, he's been straight the whole time. Joe, I had to like, in the beginning, it was just like, you got to do it, like make sure you're doing it. And I thought he was doing it and he kind of struggled a bit. But once I had to create like a calendar. This Monday, you have these classes. Tuesdays, you have these classes. These are the hyperlinks. And he was like, okay, I got it. Like, I'm good now. He gets up before I do. He'll make himself breakfast. He'll sit down there, watch his little YouTube, whatever he wants to watch, and go in his room at 9 o'clock and prepare himself for class.
What a grown man.
I know.
But I'm very big on accountability and responsibility. Like I preach that to my boys a lot, even when they were younger. You need to be accountable. You need to be responsible because as adults,
yeah.
Ain't nobody, it's 9 o'clock, get up.
Yeah.
My phone does that. And if I don't get up, I will oversleep, period, point blank. That's the end of the story. Then I will lose my job and then I won't have a place to stay because I won't get a paycheck. That's just how life works. So I'm like, boys, I finished 7th grade. I finished 5th grade. I've been done a long time ago. Okay. Long time ago. This is your life, your responsibility, your education. I need you to take ownership, accountability, and be responsible. Not me. All I'm doing is checking your grades. And if they start slipping, we're going to have a conversation about it. But if you see it slipping, and they've done that, Mom, I did well on this test. But tomorrow, I'm going to go talk to my teacher. We're going to get some extra credit. Okay, that's accountability. That's ownership. That's responsibility. Then I'm not mad. But if I get a grade and it's your final grade and it's an F, everybody in this house, everybody comes sit down.
I need to write this down for the future.
Everybody.
That's so good because I was like taking some time just to meditate on like, what kind of mom do I want to be? What kind of relationship do I want to have with my son? What do I want him to do? And that is exactly that. Like, I want him to be like, oh, this is my grade. Like, this is going to affect my life. Let me do better instead of being like, oh, I just wait till my mom tells me what to do. Like, I don't want him to be that kind of kid. Mm-hmm. So like, yes. So that's what I have to do then. I have to just like empower him is what you're saying.
Yes. Empower. That was a good word, Megan.
Yes. Empower. I got 2 girls, so now I got to figure this out.
Well, and I think it's different when you have boys because I feel like as women, we're naturally ownership, responsibility, accountability. Like my parents never had to tell me to do my homework. My parents never had to tell me to wash my face, put deodorant on. Like they never had to do that. Me and my sister, we knew what was expected of us and we just did it. And with boys, I'm like, you will not get married. And your wife is like, what did your mama teach you? Ooh, I can't cook. You can't wash clothes. You don't clean up after yourself. And if I don't do it, it don't get done. Don't have your wife cussing me out.
Right.
You'll learn.
Okay, Meg. So we got to do the arranged marriage then, because Mav can sweep, he can mop, he can vacuum.
Oh yeah, my son does. He does all types of. He's got a kitchen, a play kitchen.
Teach him. Because I know what's funny. Mama out every day.
Right. And to hear from All Def was like, you're teaching him to be a house husband. And I was like, no, I'm not. And then I was like, yes, I am. And that is a good thing. Okay. Yes, he will be a man who can take care of stuff in the house.
Listen,
right. He can clean.
His wife will appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Set him up for life. Talk to me really quick about Melissa. So I think you're so fashionable. Every time I see pictures that you take, like you had this one outfit with the hat and like your little leopard. Sweater. Oh my gosh! I really was like, where'd she get all of that? Because I'm gonna get the exact same outfit, and I hope she don't notice I have on her outfit. But you're so fashionable, and then of course you do makeup, and your makeup is excellent. And I feel like people who are creative like that always have like a laid out house, like the house matches. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, if you're fashionable, typically your house looks very fashionable and nice and just beautiful, like it should be in a magazine. And you've just posted some pictures recently of the new house that you guys live in, and it looks like it should be in a magazine first.
She was like, she got that from Pottery Barn. She got that from West Elm. Oh, yeah.
Wait, so how does this work? Because I'm the worst at like, girl, this is my fiance's office. This is like way more decorated than anything I've ever done in my life. I didn't do this. And it ain't even decorated like that. But I don't think about plants. Like when I see a home, I don't go, ooh, plants. Ooh, this is a color scheme. Ooh, I should put a pot right here. I don't even know what they're called. Like, how did you do all this?
Okay, I'm gonna be totally honest, 100% honest. I do not consider myself, Kev's gonna yell at me when he watches this, but I do not consider myself creative at all.
What?
So, I'm gonna tell you what I do, for real. People are always shocked, and I'm not even like being funny or like trying to get like, yes, you are. No, I really do not consider myself creative. I consider myself, or an expert, really. I'm really not. I consider myself actually to be an expert in learning. I feel like I can learn anything. I'm not one of those people that's just like, I've always, kids, I've always been doing hair. Like even when I was younger, I was on my Barbie dolls, or I always was interested in art or makeup or, doing designing and this kind of, I've never been that person. But whenever I decide I want to do something, I am like, if I'm going to do it, I want to be the best. Like I want to learn from an expert. So even when I learned how to do makeup, I watch YouTube. When Kev was learning about YouTube from like a comedian standpoint, I was consuming makeup videos. Back in the day when makeup gurus actually did tutorials, I literally watched them and would buy all the tools and watch the tutorial and do it. And then eventually you get to a point where you're like, okay, I got it. Like, I just got it. Same thing with clothes. Like what happened was Kev asked me to go out on a date when we were not newly married, but fairly early on in our marriage. I looked through my closet. I had button-ups, trousers, and dresses, skirts down to my ankles because I was either going to church or I was going to work. And I was like, neither of these are appropriate for a date with my husband. So I overhauled my wardrobe. And part of that was like learning colors and colors that go together and color schemes and like, what's my fashion and what do I like and what do I like and my body type and what looks good. Like I literally studied it, Then you just, okay, I got it. I understand how my body works. I know what looks good. I know fabrics. I got it. Same thing with interior design, girl. All the houses I've ever been to, except for this one, has been a whole entire hot mess. Okay, nothing smashed, nothing gone together. I thought I was doing something. I was not. And so when I knew we were moving, I would like literally saturate myself with like all the interior designers on YouTube. I've learned, I've looked at all their YouTube videos, studied they have like quizzes. I'm taking the quiz. I'm going into model homes. Okay, I get it. Oh, I understand what they're doing. Oh, that's what they meant. Oh, that's this. And then I'm able to like do it again. So I'm really more of like a paint by numbers. Like once I get it, I understand the formula. It's paint by numbers for me. It's not really like natural coming out of me creativity. I just can learn. And when I'm like obsessed with something, I become obsessed with it. Like I breathe it. Give me every video. Give me all the books. I'm going to follow you on Instagram. Like, I'm that person. I become like obsessive. And then it's like, oh, I got it. And so I think people, because once I get it, I got it. You know what I mean? And so I think that's what people see. And they're like, you're good. I'm like, no. I just learned a lot.
Melissa, don't ever say, you cannot say that you're not creative because so you're a researcher. That's fine. You study and you're a researcher, but you have to understand that it takes creativity to take what you learn and to turn it into something that you really like. Because you know what I'm saying? You could have had a different color scheme. How did you come up with gold and black in y'all's?
Girl.
You know what I'm saying? Like that takes creativity to go, oh, I can see us with this color. Like it's not, you are creative. Don't you ever say that again.
And I think it's good. It's a relatable point of view. Mm-hmm. And so when you're on YouTube and you're teaching people how to do things, I would feel more connected because you did all the research to get there. And it's like, and you're breaking it down how you learned it, basically. Yeah. It's like a better perspective for someone who is trying to.
What I really, truly hope, and I literally just the other day came up with like this theme of like who I am, because I feel like, I'm going to tell you. So the theme of who I am, or my brand at least, is I'm every woman trying to be every woman. And what that means is I am just like every woman. Like, just like you, just like her over there. And we're all trying to wear all of these hats. We're all trying to be every woman. Hold on just a second. Kev, you got to get my phone. What you call it? Okay. Sorry. And so with all of that, sorry, I lost my train of thought. I'm every woman trying to be every woman. So what I try to like portray is that I'm actually more like you than I'm not. So, and literally, if I can learn to do it, anyone can learn to do it. You know what I mean? Like anyone, because I'm not just like naturally gifted as much as like I'm naturally a learner. And I can, and one of the skills and one of the things that Megan said, and I need to remember this, I need to actually figure out how to include this in my branding. One thing that I've heard probably 3 times just this week is, Melissa, you know how to research, get all the information, and then you spit it out in a way that people understand. I've literally heard this 3 times just this week. And I've heard it several times, but just this week, I've heard it 3 times. And I think that's probably more in line with the skill that I have, where I'm willing to like research and then give it to you like, okay, so you don't have to do 3 hours every single day for a month of learning this stuff. Let me just give you the Cliff Note version of like everything that I've learned.
See? Look, and the Lord gave it to you 3 times, one for the Father, one for the Son, and one for the Holy Ghost. All right.
This is.
Take that.
So you said that you quit working and then you wanted to move into this creator field. Like, what made you decide to move into the creating space?
Girl, I'm going to help you with your wording though. I didn't quit. Oh. So my company that I worked for shut down and moved to Ohio.
Oh.
So they told us in like January, and my last day was Halloween, like 2 years ago. And so I just didn't have a job.
Okay.
Yeah.
God did that for you. It
happens like that. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
God did that for you because you were not going to leave, because you're the type, like very stable. Like you weren't going to leave that place.
No. Ever, Megan. Never.
You had to move your job to Ohio for it to be.
Like, do I want to move to Ohio? How can I make this?
Kev, you sure you don't want to leave?
Nah.
It's cheaper and stuff.
Look at this house. We get like 4 times a house.
Listen, for half the price, okay? At least. So yeah, it was definitely, I didn't quit. I was laid off. And with that, Kev was just like, let's just do it, you know? And I wouldn't have done it otherwise. God just made it. Kev always says, because in real life, I'm telling the whole entire truth. In January, when they told us, the conversation I was supposed to have with my company was that I was going to quit. And I chickened out. And so like 2 weeks after, maybe even a month, I would say, I had a conversation with them where I was supposed to quit, and I chickened out. I was like, I'll just go part-time. And so the week I was supposed to go part-time, literally the week I was supposed to go part-time, our corporate office came in and did a town hall meeting and told us that we are shutting this company down in 9 months. And you can either go to Ohio, not everyone, but I was one of the people that they were like, well, we'll take you, but you can either go to Ohio or you'll get your severance package, basically. And so I know Kev is always, or at the time, Kev was like, you were Jonah, if you know the story of Jonah, where the whole shit, because he was on the ship and it was all these things. And it wasn't until the storm came, it wasn't until he got out the boat into the belly of the big fish that everything calmed down. And he was like, you were Jonah, but you didn't leave. So the whole company had to shut down.
That's all because of you.
Your California co-workers was like, damn, Melissa.
Listen 2 weeks ago.
All was well. That was your opportunity. You still here. Now we all got to go.
Right. That's funny.
But that's a blessing because I feel like you are, like when I see you as a creator and I see, I listen to the podcast and I see the videos that you put up on your YouTube channel, like it just feels very natural. Like you've been in this space for a long time and it's not, your husband has been in it, but it's completely different from how he's been in it. Like it doesn't look like you're mimicking his journey because sometimes that's what'll happen when, you're with somebody who does this for a long time. So like you was meant to do this. You were, I truly feel that. So I'm so glad you walked into your blessing for this, even though you wanted to be back at your job, be back at Ohio job. So before we get out of here, Melissa, tell us, do you have anything upcoming, anything that people can check out? And where can they find you on social media?
So one of the things that I have coming up is I'm changing my Love Hour conference that was supposed to be in Atlanta inside of 60 days will now be digital. So I'm excited about that. Yes. Okay. So you can go to, I'm going to just say KevOnStage.com because I need to put out the information formally. If you're interested in purchasing tickets, that will be there. But in the meantime, between time, you can find me on all social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, the Twitter, the YouTube at KevOnStage.
Okay. I like it.
Okay, guys. Well, before we get out of here, we like to close the show with a segment called I'm Fine. It's a little inspiration to get you through the week, to just remind mamas that you are fine, both mentally and spiritually, and you're doing a good job. So today, Megan has I'm Fine.
I'm fine. So today I have a quote. It's called, it says, taking care of myself doesn't mean me first. It means me too. LR Nost. And I think well, first of all, when I saw that, I was just like, yes, like the Black Lives Matter movement, when people are like, all lives matter. No, it just means Black Lives Matter too. And it's the same thing that we apply as mothers, because I know sometimes that I feel a little bit guilty about taking my time, oh no, Mav's with his dad, I'll just take him, I know his dad's got work. No, I have work too. And I have to be okay with saying, okay, but I need a little bit of time for myself to get this done. So if I take a little bit longer, don't feel guilty about that because self-care is about saying me too. I also need a little bit of care so that I can take care of everybody else.
Yeah, corporate empty cup. I love that.
Guys, I was about to show you these press-on nails that I swear I was going to put on today, and I didn't.
Wait, let me see.
I don't know where they are. I was going to show you, but I was literally about to be like, look.
Your 2-year-old probably has them on her fingers right now.
Right?
All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for taking a break with us right here on Mommy Needs a Break. We want you to take a break with us again next week. But until then, we've got a bunch of mommy and daddy guests that we are interviewing for you guys here. You can follow Melissa Fredericks at Mrs. KevOnStage everywhere. Melissa, is that the same as your website?
Yes, KevOnStage.com.
Okay. And then also follow me, Megan Thomas at Meg Scoop everywhere.
And you can follow me, Marisa, at She Is Marisa J. You can visit our website, mnabpodcast.com. It's still like a tongue twister for me. You can follow us, MNAB Podcast, on all platforms. You can listen to this podcast on Spotify, Google Play. Where else are we, Megan? iTunes, everywhere. We have been working really hard to get everything seamless for you.
Watch go ahead and join our Patreon. We have the link below.
Yes, we need some money, so just go ahead and subscribe to it.
Yes,
so we can keep building this good content for you.
Absolutely. Melissa, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come and bless us with your beautiful presence.
Thank you. And thank y'all for being so patient with me, child. So thank you, guys.
We didn't even get into that.
Girl, it ain't even no issue. All right. Thank you so much. You guys, we'll see you next week right here on Mommy Needs a Break.